Oil is Gambia's leading dealer when it comes to fuel and has made it a duty to satisfy our customers at all costs. Vehicle owners and drivers need not to worry about getting quality and affordable fuel anymore. That is the reason we have our branches spread all over the country for easy access. For good and clean fuel, the only place to go is Oil. Your need for good and durable petrol, gasoline and kerosene has been covered by Oil, so you need not to worry. Walk to any of our branches and get served to satisfaction. With Oil, your satisfaction is our priority. That is why we have branches at your doorstep to make accessibility easy for you. With our professional and friendly staff, we can assure you satisfaction. To get the best fuel for your engines, the only place to go is Oil. With Oil, it's all enjoyment. That is why we are offering you low charges at our stations on the Coastal Road in Banjul. For more information, you can call 770-8080, 322-9070, 714-7273, or 387-1321. Oil, the pride of the nation.
Stop ATM card, checkbook requests, and PIN change. Our real-time gross settlement allows the customer to instruct the bank to transfer funds from their account to another account at another bank. Our expertise and experience in international banking is both legendary and the envy of the market. Retail banking. One bank, different amazing packages. Whether you are interested in savings account, current account, time or fixed deposit account, lending or overdraft, our team of dedicated staff is always ready and happy to help you out with your transactions as you wish. Corporate banking. Trust Bank offers the most convenient services for deposit accounts, credit facilities, trade finance, bond and guarantee, and foreign currency account. With e-banking, you can make electronic bill payments and online banking and enjoy 24-hour access to your money without ATM. With the largest network of branches and agents, we give you the convenience to receive funds as you please. We are Trust Bank because we take pride in satisfying every customer's financial needs.
Introducing the future of hassle-free and seamless financial transaction. The Una Wallet app, empowering you to effortlessly manage your money anytime, anywhere. With the Una Wallet app, you can now enjoy branchless banking, wallet-to-wallet transfer, wallet-to-cash, and bank cross-border payments, deposit at a bank, and withdraw from any Una branch. Get ready to experience the ultimate banking convenience with the Una Wallet app. With just few taps on your phone, you can effortlessly add funds, withdraw, and send money to your loved ones. The Una Wallet app also provides a detailed history of your transaction, making it easier to track your expenses. So, what are you waiting for? Download the Una Wallet app today on Play Store or App Store and say goodbye to hustle of traditional banking. Uno Forex Bureau Limited, delivering much more than money.
Welcome to another edition of our show. It's another Thursday and we're back here. Sorry for that interruption in the broadcasting of the National Assembly inquiry, but you can catch it on our Kerr Fatou YouTube, where all of it will be broadcasted later on. But today with me, I have Madi Jobarteh. Madi is the founder and executive director of the Edward Francis Small Center for Rights and Justice. And obviously, you're celebrating 1 year right now. Yesterday, Madi. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here once again. And thank you for the opportunity.
1 year anniversary.
Yeah, 1 year. This October, we've clocked 1 year. And for me, it is a fulfilling 1 year. It's a rewarding 1 year. And it's a promising 1 year that provides a promising future, for Edward Francis Small Center. Because the whole rationale of creating Edward Francis Small Center is to make sure the state is held to account. As I've said it here and everywhere, that our fundamental problem since independence is that we have a state that is not performing its functions as it should, efficiently, transparently, and responsively, and rather has been managing public affairs and public resources in a manner that benefits those in the state, those who work in the state, first and foremost, than the citizens. And that is precisely the reason we have poverty here in this country as it is. That we have, the kind of high unemployment, that we have the poor services, and, and the deplorable condition in this country. For I tell everyone, every country is well endowed.
Yeah.
Yes, by nature, and for fact, because every country is composed of human beings. And human beings in themselves are unlimited resource, so that nature has enabled the human being, regardless of wherever you are, to find a way out and to develop, to grow. That is why we have the brain as different from everyone or every other living thing. So if you look across the world, you have countries where you wonder whether you would ever want to live there.
Yeah.
Take Japan, for example. Every month, every now and again, it is some earthquake or some tsunami.
Yeah.
But they've built one of the most advanced, most efficient society on earth. You take a country like Iceland. The country is, terribly cold all the time, and they have built something like this, a very advanced society.
Yeah.
You take a country like Qatar, it's a desert completely.
Yeah.
All right. Some would have oil, some would have diamonds, some would have water, some have forest areas, and so on and so forth. So every country on this earth is well endowed, regardless of all other material things, for the fact that you have human beings. So the Gambia is a very well endowed country that, apart from the human beings, the natural resources in this country are immense.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no reason why this country could not have been a wealthy, advanced society. The only reason it is in the way it is today is because the kind of state we have.
We have.
And so EF Small Center is created to confront that we have to have a transparent state.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to have an accountable state. We have to have a state that is efficient, that performs and delivers. That is our number one focus objective. And to do that, it is not a question of only EF Small Center doing it, but it is to realize that ultimately EF Small Center is not here to liberate or free Gambians. It is for Gambians to free themselves. Nobody can free a people. Only people can free themselves. So the other leg of our existence is that empowerment of the people. And so that's why I said it's promising. We've started with nothing, and we've over the past year we have, distinguished ourselves.
Yeah.
That yes, there is somebody who is talking about something.
About something.
Yes.
There's somebody to, and talking about that, we will come back to going into the second year, the accountability. You said this is going to be a year of transparency and all that. We'll look into that. But I want to look at what has been trending these days, and that's the politics of the rhetoric in the political climate, in the political scene. I think we saw what happened recently when the president, the Ministry of Information, the minister issued a statement addressing the media houses. I refused to give it a platform because I felt like if the minister felt that there's a particular media house that was doing something that is unethical, it would be good to call us out and just say, hey, Kerr Fatou, your line of reporting is inappropriate, or this particular media house, and then, obviously call out the particular incident that will help us to know, but just boxing everybody. And I think a lot of our colleagues also ignored that publication because when you saw that,
you'll be surprised. I didn't even see it precisely because I just heard about it, but
none of us published it. I said I'm not going to.
So probably that's precisely why I didn't see the text.
Yeah.
But I've heard about it, and I think I even made a comment about it somewhere. Yeah.
So for something like that, and I'm thinking, why do you think that was necessary now and today for the Minister of Information, who's supposed to be our minister, supposed to be protecting our interests and calling us out on ethical issues and misinformation? And I would say this minister have been fact-checked more than any current minister. Just last week, he was in Senegal and said the Gambia government bought 2,000 tractors for farmers. He said that in Senegal. I have the video. And at the Sukuta rally, he said 80 tractors. The same minister, in the span of days, contradicted himself. And he's supposed to be the information minister. In the same rally, the agricultural minister, who is the custodian of these tractors, said actually it was 60 tractors that was delivered. So if you're telling us misinformation, you make sure you are giving us the right information yourself. It's okay for him to say that, but it's not okay for journalists to make a mistake or even write something. But in this case, I didn't even see anything from any media house.
Yeah. So, Fatou, this is all within the framework of what I was saying about the state filling in their responsibilities. It is not merely plundering our resources, wasting our resources, but it is also to scare citizens and to mislead citizens so that they impose narratives on people to succumb, to accept. And they do this with a lot of arrogance and disrespect, as you can see in the case of Ismail Assise. Since the First Republic to the Jammeh era to now, the state had controlled the narrative. It is their version, official version. There was a time we had only Radio Gambia.
Yeah.
All right. We had only GRTS as national television. In the days of Jammeh, Jawara, journalists like, William Dixon Colley, journalists like Sadamane, Tixmane, were arrested and taken to court for reporting corruption. So the state doesn't want any other idea, any other opinion other than their opinion. They don't want to be criticized. They don't want to be held to account. Jammeh will not even talk about that. All right, and that trend is what is now here, so that you raise issues, they will come and give false information, false equivalences, stories like this, and that is part of the corruption. And so EF Small Center is here to address that, to change the narrative, to humble and tame government officials, to realize that you take somebody like Dr. Ismail Assisa as Minister of Information, you are a public servant, and by law, by ethics, you have a duty to speak truth to Gambians. You have a duty to be honest to Gambians.
Yeah.
You have a duty to respect Gambians even if they disagree with you. You have no reason whatsoever to mislead them, to lie to them, or to talk to Gambians with disrespect, as Ismaila has been saying, insulting people's mothers and their fathers and their individuals. He just insulted me this afternoon or this morning.
Yesterday, I saw it.
Yeah. All right, calling me a charlatan, a liar, and stuff like that. So this is what has to be addressed, because this has been the culture, this arrogance of our public institutions, public officials, that, they have silenced Gambians. They have, scared Gambians. Whilst their corruption and inefficiency, is everywhere. Look, the person was sitting down, electricity went out.
Yeah.
How can we explain that since NAWEC was created in this country, the provision of electricity up to 2025, you cannot give us 24/7 uninterrupted electricity everywhere in the Gambia, but you could have the audacity to come and sit before the public to tell us, since the colonialists, this government has provided more meters for the Gambian people.
Actually, in Senegal, he said even electricity is stable now.
Yeah.
He said under this government.
So this is what the reason why EF Small Center, people see our statements every day.
Yeah.
Yes, because we want to tame government.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to put government in its place as a public servant that should be honest and truthful, that they don't have the monopoly to control the narrative in this country.
Well, how do we, because it looks like we are on for a very wrong ride going to elections. And the reason why I said this morning on my page is this how we are going to get into elections? For example, the same minister you quoted said that was referencing one of the political movements and said one of their members was a former call girl. That is a very serious thing to call a political opponent.
Yeah.
He didn't stop there. He called all these political leaders names. He called Esa Fall out of his name. He said Usainu Dabo was old. He said Halifa Saleh said he's not going to. He called all of these political leaders out of their name. Yeah. And in that same gathering, the president was there. All cabinet ministers were there. And it is normalized in our constitution, in our culture today, our political discourse, that a state minister can sit on a be on a platform and say all of these things. The call girl, was said on the interview with Peter, but the calling out of all political leaders was done on an NPP platform where they had a rally in Sukuta.
Yeah.
Is this the new way of politicking? Because the reason why I say this, yes, some people will say other people insult also. Normally, this is in WhatsApp audios, or it is on Facebook and others. But in a platform where the president is, you're calling Esa Falmon Fenkarla, do they want digger? Stuff like that. And the president himself is sitting there.
Yeah, so, I have said it ever since. The entity encouraging hate speech, politics of insult and deception is the government itself. All right. So that if you have to address it, first and foremost, it is the government, the president and his ministers and advisors and other surrogates who would have to stop it, because they are the ones perpetrating this hate speech and insults. All right, and they have the responsibility as the leader in this space to make sure they uphold decent standards, ethical values, and act according to the law. And tomorrow, we have a statement we are finalizing to say, yes, Small Center, we are launching an election monitoring, platform or a tool, because the Sukuta rally is like, that is the launch of the official campaign.
Yes.
And of course, all the other parties around and so on. So we are going to monitor political speeches, whether from the NPP or any other political party or politician, to highlight any elements of hate, of insult, of indecency, and unlawful remarks, to flag it. But as we already said, it appears this is going to be the trend 2026, and it's so disappointing because there are so many critical, fundamental issues, pertinent issues that concern the lives of Gambians. That is what we need to discuss. We are a multi-party democracy. All right, that is what the Constitution provides. Political parties are legitimate legal entities, especially registered political parties. Their leaders and their members and supporters are legitimate citizens who are within their legitimate rights to express themselves. So in that context, the idea of calling a political opponent a liar, a call girl, old, or did not finish his or her education, is completely irrelevant. It has no value to the very purpose, the very idea of multi-party democracy, and particularly to the national issues, the issues that confront this nation. So it has to be addressed, yes. And so we will issue a statement on that, today or tomorrow morning, and we're finalizing it. But yes, this is the trend, and it has to be confronted. Yes, and if anyone has responsibility to end this, the ruling party, President Barrow and his allies, should be called out to stop it. Yes, that is the first thing to do, first and foremost. And it is so unfair because when these things are coming, we already have a law that has a provision protecting the president, ministers, parliamentarians from being insulted or their parents being insulted.
But they can insult us.
But they can insult the rest of it.
Okay.
So, it is so unfair. And so...
even when Dr. Sise insulted you, you could not insult back, even if you want to, because there's a law that protects him. But that law doesn't protect you and me. How fair is that?
Yeah. So, all this highlight, once again, that our republic is in sickness. And we have said this as a Small Center, that we don't have, a republic yet. We don't have citizens yet. And, this country has a state that is a fraud, a scam, existing only for those who work inside the state. All right. Yes, a school will be built. A road would be built, a hospital will be built. Everywhere you go with this kind of state. But at the end of the day, you can realize the poverty and the indignity and the deprivation and the injustice in which Gambians are, and the gross unfairness at how public resources are being wasted on individuals simply because they work in the state, when the masses of our people are sitting there not having quality goods and services as they should. You look at the budget, the 2026 estimates, you look at the 2025, any budget you look at, you can see how much money is being spent on personal, benefits, from salaries or allowances, or, whether it's travel or furniture or, vehicles and any kind of thing you can imagine being catered for by individuals who work in the state. Yet those individuals are not going to deliver to you uninterrupted electricity supply. They are not going to deliver to you, excellent ferry service. They are not going to deliver to you, excellent services in any area you can imagine, any sector you can imagine in this country. And that is what has to stop. So we are established purposely to stop that. And so, as I said, it's been 1 year and it's great. So we are putting it to government, reminding them of their responsibilities, and not just reminding them, but what needs to be done.
What needs to be done.
Yeah.
Now, looking at, before we move from the Sukuta rally, have you, the other thing that also came up was the the remarks, actually that was not the Sokoto, that was the interview with Peter, where Ismaila talked about young leadership and insinuating that Senegalese people regrets the Diomaye Sonko president government because, and he's warning Gambians not to dare change government, a stable government for people who have no experience and stuff like that. Diplomatically, Madi, how do you think that is bad for our country? I mean, I know it's our internal issues, but if you have to invoke, you know, our allies, Senegal is one of our big, because somebody was saying he didn't name this, but actually he confirmed when Peter said Senegal, he said, go to Dakar, check the social media. So he, you know, confirmed that he was talking about Senegal when he said, go to Dakar. So what do you think, what impact do you think that will have in our diplomatic relationships when a state minister says stuff like this about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge overstep, all right, and wrong on many fundamental levels.
Yeah.
In the first place, we are a multi-party democracy, as I said, and government is formed according to the will of Gambians.
Yeah.
And the constitution provides that Gambians can constitute themselves in a party and put up candidates. I mean, so we can change parties. So with or without Senegal or anywhere in the world, by our democratic dispensation, Gambians can change parties.
Yeah.
And there is nothing frightening about that because, you know, it is up to Gambians to feel that this particular government or party that is ruling, we want to replace it. We want to replace this particular candidate and so on and so forth. So when you make a remark like that, I mean, particularly as coming from someone who is considered a professor of political science, you know, it appears then he is not thinking, because if he's thinking, it should not be, you know, been scaring people about changing the party, because that is normal. That is why we are going to elections, to choose this or that. All right. Then to go further to make that, I mean, a question of regret. All right. I mean, as if you are appointed as an advisor for Gambians. You are not an advisor to Gambians. All right. So you are arrogating to yourself a function that, you know, is not your function at all. So, you know, the idea of Gambians regretting this or that does not arise. Then to give an analogy to Senegal or any other country, and particularly Senegal, it means you have now stepped into, you know, an area that potentially undermines the relationship between these two countries, because how will the other side of the border receive this information? And very significantly, coming from the Minister of Information, if one understands the function of the Minister of Information, it is the voice and the image of government. It is supposed to, you know, speak about what government intends to do or is thinking and things like that. So are you telling the Senegalese government that this is the thinking of our government, that Senegalese have regretted bringing new people into office? All right. So, I mean, you know, how would the Senegalese respond to that? You know, it's anyone's guess. But then it is entirely the fault of the minister who has overstepped his bounds. You know, to talk about issues that really, I mean, do not concern the Gambia. The Senegalese have a right, just like Gambians, to change their political parties, to change their government, and to vote for any politician they wish. And that is not a matter of regret, particularly for a Minister of Information to, you know, want to make citizens believe or, you know, think about. All right. So on many levels, therefore, Ismaila overstepped, and you know, and I think this minister needs to be stopped in his arrogance, in his disrespect, in his misleading, I mean, disinformation campaign, and, you know, and sowing the seeds of discord in this country. Because when you insult people, when you insinuate other countries are in regret, when you, I mean, you know, caricature individuals simply because they disagree with you or they are, you know, belong to a different platform, then you are essentially sowing the seeds of discourse in this country, when that is not your job. I mean, and which is also a manifestation of poor performance, because what you are doing is you are therefore generating contempt in citizens against the government for which you are required to make citizens respect and have confidence and trust in. That is the job of the minister, to make citizens have trust and confidence in that government. But if you act in a certain way that people find you, despicable and contemptuous, then it means people are going to equally mistrust and lack confidence in that government, for which we are supposed to make endearing to citizens. So the man needs to be stopped, to be awakened to realize what his function is. All right. And Fatou, when all of this is said and done, is to say, at the end of the day, he is a citizen. All right. The place you are working at is public office. Yes. Paid for by the public. All right. And that's why I said at the beginning that you have an obligation to be honest to those citizens. Yes, to have an obligation to be honest to those citizens, to be truthful to those citizens, so that when you say we will regret changing this government because others happened somewhere else, then you caricature opponents. You are not speaking about the corruption in this government. Not just the Auditor General's report. We are just having a parliamentary committee looking at Jammeh assets the way they were disposed. We just had the local government commission conclude. I mean, there are many other inquiries, parliamentary inquiries on the Russian oil, saga. We had the Aki deaths in 2022. We have a situation where thousands of our people, young people, are perishing in the Sahara Desert and the Atlantic Ocean. We have electricity problems. We have one ferry at Banjul on and off. All right. I mean, service delivery everywhere you go to in this country is in shambles. Now, and Gambians have appointed somebody, paid somebody, including him, elected somebody to manage our resources and affairs so that we can get the best out of our country. From our taxes and loans and grants they take in our name. You don't address that. You try to deny there's no corruption in this country, because as much as they have sat there to say this government is the most transparent government since Jawara. I mean, so blatantly lying to citizens. And for me, I find that very, very concerning, because our government should acknowledge facts. Government should acknowledge facts, acknowledge problems, and tell us how we are going to solve this problem. I watched the Sukuta rally, and I have not seen any talk about how do we bring down the high cost of living. Now, he sat at that program at that radio station, with Peter, talking about inflation being under control. I mean, the cost of things right now in this country, whether that is control or not control, is terrible.
We all know.
We don't need any one direction to add to any good today. Right now, why it is terrible. And that has been the trend since 2017 when this government took over, that the prices have risen to a level that it is unbearable. You can sit there and tell us about IMF and World Bank and so on, but I don't care about an IMF report which paints this country any nicely they want to do so, when I know the cost of pig milk, the cost of a bag of rice, the cost of, to get lunch for my family is a big issue. So, I mean, what are you talking about? So, a serious government would come to say, look, we have acknowledged this is a problem. Unemployment is a problem. What are you doing about unemployment? All right? You sit here and tell us, according to, Mo Ibrahim Foundation, Gambia is, or freedom of, expression index, Gambia is at this level or that level. So you want to pick things selectively just to give us the impression that everything is fine in this country? For me, I find that very, very problematic. And Fatou, that has been the case, all right, since independence. Government giving us false narratives, giving us false equivalencies, diverting our attention to what is an issue. But every day we see the poverty, the deprivation, the injustice, the inequality that is spread in this country. Yet, when we look at the other side, we see the amount of money being collected huge. We see taxes going high. We see loans going high. We see grants, more coming to this country. But then the goods and services, the benefits that you and I should have are limited, erratic, expensive, or not available for all of us. Look at internet. All right?
So talking about how our mega resources is being spent, the minister was at the National Assembly, and the budget allocations, proposed budget allocation, 750 million was allocated to the Office of the President, and 599 to the National Assembly, 406 to the Judiciary, 2 billion, 100 million to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, agriculture, 1 billion 771, 2 billion to the Ministry of Works, Infrastructure, obviously. Health, I think, has the highest, 3 billion, 141, and of course, you know, one of the largest shares in the draft, Office of the President, Office of the Vice President. Now, you know, before, Office of the President is under, the Office of the Vice President is always allocated under the Office of the President. That is why last year we had them around 800 something. But look at what happened this year. They separated them. Office of the Vice President, 370 million, right? And Office of the President, 400. So if you add both of them, it's above $1 billion, both of them. But before they were together, now they've been separated. Office of the Vice President has been done. Now look at Office Minister of Youth and Sports. You talk about the Ministry of Youth and Sports, you're talking about all the youths, their problems, their issues, and sports and everything, 146 million.
Shameful.
And then you come to the Ministry of Science, Research and Technology, 1 billion, Ministry of Interior, 2 billion, Ministry of Defense, 1 billion. Additionally, 722 million has been embarked for pensions and gratuities. And then you come to other ministries, trade, those ones are peanuts. Ministry of Information, I think, and fisheries have the lowest budgets, and petroleum and others have 1 billion something. But I mean, just the allocation. You're talking about allocation, but look at the allocations itself. What services and produce? What kind of services does the Office of the President produce for the benefit of course, out of respect for the presidency? Obviously, you know, there should be a lot of resources available to the presidency, but 740, just the president, excluding the Office of the VP.
So, Fatou, this precisely speaks to what I said, that state exists for the people who work in the state.
Yeah.
You've listed these sectors and the amounts.
Yeah.
But I urge citizens to go further and open the book and look at line by line.
Line by line.
You will see salaries.
Yeah. Vehicles.
You know, and you'll see a small line there, salaries. And you'll see, you know, 5, 10, 15 allowances of all sorts.
Yeah.
All right. Then you'll see vehicles, you'll see travels, you'll see furniture, you'll see stationery. You'll see a government ministry allocating stationery $1 million in 12 months. What kind of stationery are you going to buy? You'll see furniture. All right. As if, I mean, how long have you had this furniture here?
This is the 3rd year.
All right.
Yeah.
Why would you put furniture every year? For what purpose? What is wrong with this? All right. But the evidence of that, Fatou, look at the vehicle envoy of the president and ask yourself, what is the justification? Look at the kind of pickup trucks and SUVs that the president uses. Seriously speaking, I mean, for what purpose? How does those vehicles add to the value of work, of performance of the president or office of the president?
But for the security of our president.
Yeah, but what security essentially? Because, I mean,
armored vehicles.
I mean, so that is an easy thing to say for security. But how do you guarantee the security? How do you guarantee the security of a president, of a minister? Play good governance. Abide by democracy. Respect human rights. All right? For the past 9 years, the president has gone up and down with no incidents. His envoys drive through across this country, no incidents, because, I mean, you know, what do you justify that for those pickup trucks? I mean, for what? And whoever has intention to breach the such security, regardless, would do so. All right? So, but as the president, look at the ministers. How do you justify the kind of vehicle? Why would you give a $12 million vehicle to a minister to drive and then give a second one and call it utility vehicle also? On what basis? In a country like the Gambia right now, and all the complaints, they are the ones who say Gambia is a poor country. All right? Why would you do that? Why cannot a minister use a Benz 190 to go to work and come? But at the end of the day, it's going to walk from one place to the other. Why can't you use the most cost-effective vehicle to go to work and come? So what is the justification that you have to have a certain kind of SUV? You stand on this road, Fatou, you will see the most expensive vehicles with GG on them for the various government agencies. Luxury vehicles, luxury SUVs. On what basis? Any kind of government agency. Why would you go and buy such kind of a vehicle? What is the justification? So you look at this budget, Fatou, this is what you see, and this has been the practice in this country ever since independence, but it became a real culture since 1994 to date. This plunder of public resources, the personalization of public resources, so that you look at the office of the president, yes, they think they are smart to separate it, and they will tell you, yes, because office of this president has other agencies under it.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Go and look at those agencies, what they give them, all right? And those agencies, look deep inside also, what are the budget lines under those agencies? It's the same, all right? But what is the justification that you would give that much amount to the office of the president, to the office of the vice president? So the Gambian government is consuming most of our resources when resources are necessary to go into social services, social sectors. Resources are necessary to go into areas that will empower, invest in Gambians to empower them with knowledge and skills. And we could have provided free quality education from primary to tertiary in this school. In this country. It is not available. You could have equipped every hospital, health center from Banjul to Nyamanari with the most modern medical equipment. We could have equipped every primary, secondary, tertiary school in this country from Banjul to Nyamanari with air-conditioned classrooms, with internet schools, with classrooms fitted with television screens, modern learning gadgets. The resources are here. Look at the budget. That's talking about 60 billion. So you look at that 60 billion. The vast chunk of it is going to individuals or to debt servicing.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So what is this means is that public resources are collected and wasted on individuals. So that we come back again the whole year. At the end of it, we start in January with the same electricity problem, with the same, ferry problem, with the same water problem. We look at the infrastructure they build, whether it's roads or schools. You look at the quality, it is not there. Because government is not held to account. So they can go and build any road. Take your time, Fatou, and walk around all the roads they said they are building. And you would have said to yourself, this road could have been better designed. This road could have been better structured. You can see the effects of these roads, in the flooding that it has caused. You can see the effects in the obstacles it has caused in terms of mobility, movement, and so many other things. So this has been the culture, and this has to be confronted.
But also, these budgets, they are being approved by the National Assembly.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, minister comes with a budget and they bring it to the parliamentarian.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they are part of the system. Yes. I remember not just this National Assembly, since Jammeh time, I have seen many National Assembly members when the current Speaker of Abaka Tomonyada was majority leader.
Yes.
I told you, look at the budget, you will see a line there called common services or essential common services, something like that.
Yeah, essential services.
All right. Now, it is over $1 billion.
Yeah.
So you begin to ask yourself, okay, what common services are you talking about? Because you go to Quadrangle, which is one big structure.
Yeah.
You would have thought there's only 1 meter for all the offices. Because electricity is common service, or plumbing is common service, internet is common service, vehicle pool is common service. All right, printing could be common service. So that there's a whole system in which, if you are in Quadrangle, there's a place where you know, the printing is everywhere. We do the printing here. So every office does not have to buy a printer. But you go to, you find everyone buying a printer, everyone buying an internet, everyone paying their electricity, everyone, you know, having their pool of vehicles, waste of resources. And then you have common services. So what is common about that? And then you have offices scattered all over the place. Offices, Gambian offices, like the Ministry of Interior, which is the home office. You are renting in private property in this country. You have state lands that you are giving to individuals because of their connections, their positions. You give state land to individuals. But then a government agency, a government ministry, a government department, a government agency is renting in a public place, in a private place. There is no sense to think, can we create a common government building cluster in Serakunda, in Brikama, in Farafenye, in Basse, in Janjambure, so that to the larger extent possible, all government departments, agencies will be housed in this building. We call it government house. We cut costs. There will be common service. There's one plumbing going there. There's one electricity system going there. There's one internet going there. There's one printing there. There's one, you know, conference room or conference service there. That is common service. But you don't do that. You know, how many ministries are rented? You count. You look at how many departments are rented. How many agencies are rented. Wasting our resources, just like that. You know, for the government's got to wake up to say, look, this republic has to change.
But Madi, you know, my thing is, when you speak like this, and when I think, this is how I think, right? But when you hear from the president, you know, the president, I have ako, you know, atala doku wala batina government or bare elekla. He even said what he has done, his record, you know, is what will, you know, election will be based on that. And it baffles me. And when I have government officials here or officials from the ruling party, they tell you the kind of work this government is doing, the road constructions especially, the schools. The president was even mentioning how many schools he's built, you know, how many classrooms they have built, the health sector, they're building a multipurpose hospital in Jambanjeri or whatever, in West Coast, and all of these things that they're doing, how they have changed the face of this country. Electricity will be stable in the next couple of few years, in 2 years, I think that's the target, something like that. But yes, there are a lot of resources, but is there any also developments that we can say, look, for the past 8 years of this government, we can look at this and say, they have done this? Is there anything we can pinpoint?
Yeah, so you see, what is visible is goods and services. All right. And goods and services, even in the government in Somalia, is providing goods and services. Okay. All right. The Sudan, you know, the government in Sudan, they are providing goods and services. The areas the Rapid Response Force, RSF control, they are providing service. Yeah. Because government will always receive revenue. Yeah. And the cheapest thing to do is to provide service. And indeed, we need those goods and services. Yeah. Government needs roads. Government needs schools. Yeah. Yes. So, and the building of roads and schools did not start with Barrow. Yeah. You know, Jammeh built roads and schools in an unprecedented manner. Yes. All right. I mean, when you look at it historically, I mean, the transformation on the Jammeh is still unprecedented. It is. It is. You know, because it's not just schools and roads. All right, a television was put here. The university. You know, the university, the hospitals. Yeah. But not just that. Some of the most important good governance institutions were built on the Jammeh. The National Audit Office, the IEC, the GRA, the PURA, the Ombudsman. All right. I mean, the Gambia Competition Commission. All right. You know,
the human rights, the something, the one
ADRS. ADRS. Right? Yes. So a lot of those good governance institutions were all built on the Jammeh's time. All right. Yeah. But today, the you know, during this time, the abuse of rights, you know, bad governance was such that you don't even You didn't forget about that.
That's true.
That these things really exist. NCCE, they were all built on the Jammeh style.
Yeah.
So the issue therefore is, while those institutions are necessary, those roads are necessary, and the resources will always be there to do so. What needs to happen is not merely their existence, but their their efficiency, their performance and delivery to change lives.
Yeah.
All right, let's say roads now. But for that to happen, it means those roads would have to also be, the process of procuring them.
Yeah.
All right, whether that's value for money, all right, in the design and the quality of the road that is going to come. You see, the road between Westfield, all right, and to go in Latikunda to Taboko, and on to Mandinaba, that road. Father, I remember fully. It must have been either 1999 or 2000.
Yeah.
I was at the signing ceremony of that at the Ministry of Works, $200 million. All right, and the road was designed in such a way that it was going to be wider, with a lot of facilities, including street lights and so on, traffic lights. But at the end of the day, they squandered all the money and they built a road from Westfield all the way to Mandinaba that up to today is a problem. In the morning, if you are coming, it's a problem. In the afternoon, if you are going, it's a problem. The road has not been built in a way to connect to the communities, all right, to be a real artery, for mobility, for the economy, for our society. You see, a road is not just a physical structure, Fatou. A road is also a cultural product. A road is also political. A road is social, all right, and so many other things. So that you look at the Westfield to Mandinaba road, the money earmarked for it, 200 million in those days. And now you look at that road. Since then, they have been cutting parts of the road because it is not appropriate. A lot of the things that should have finished along that road, drainage, they were not finished or not done properly. Street lights came later, not done at the time. No traffic lights. All right, the space, the road, how wide it should be, has not been done. But it was another road when it was done in a poor country, or impoverished country like the Gambia. People saw a road. If you remember, before that road was done, it was just one road, potholes and, a lot of problems. And people were like,
we celebrate it.
I'll attend to. Because, people who are in such hardship and misery, it's like you said, a hungry person, even that little thing, you will think that is the end of it. So that has been the approach. So all of these things are necessary, and they are building these things. We see these things. But at the end of the day, when you come to look at it, you look at the OIC roads, the money put there. I hope the audit will come out to expose that. All right. You realize there was not value for money. The road wasn't structured, designed, constructed in a way that it will, add value to our economy, to our socio-cultural life, and, to many other aspects of our life. It is not the case. You build hospitals like Jammeh did. At the end of the day, Farafenni Hospital, Buyam Hospital, what is that quality? Until now we say we have one referral hospital, Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital. By now, Bansang and Basse and Buyam Hospital, Farafenni should be equally equipped.
Referral,
should be equally equipped as Edward Francis Moore Teaching, and the resources are here. Right. So to make that all happen, Fatou, it means whilst goods and services are important, and that will always happen. If the next government comes, they are going to add more roads, they are going to add more schools, they are going to add more hospitals and bridges, and that will continue. Fatou, America is still building roads. Yes. Sweden are still building hospitals. United Kingdom are still building bridges. So, and you go to UK, you will think like, no, these people, they have no need for any infrastructure now. Everything is here.
But every day they are building.
But they are still building. So we will always build. But the difference is where they all failing, Barrow, like Jammeh, like Chawara, is at the end of the day, how do you ensure efficiency? How do you ensure efficiency? How do you ensure accountability? You see, in the absence of efficiency and accountability, you can build a very urgent, important, necessary infrastructure. or facility, whether it's a hospital or school, it will not come to provide the benefits that it should provide. Because at the end of the day, in the process of creating it, there's no transparency, and in the running of it, there's no efficiency, and above all, there's no accountability. And that has been the perennial problem of this country, that lack of accountability. Because of lack of accountability, therefore, efficiency is affected, performance is affected. So things can happen. Take an example of electricity, for example. All right, and all the other things that government is doing. So more money is being wasted. All right, and more money is going to individual hands in government than money really going into services and facilities and goods that will transform people's life. Because at the end of the day, you have to say, look, if we build all these roads, but what about employment? What about employment? What would trigger employment? What would drive the economy? All right, if we build the roads and so on, what about water supply? What about electricity? All right, and so on and so forth. So that at the end of the day, even internet. All of these are things that can drive the economy, generate the economy, because there are opportunities that people can use and build. If electricity is good, how many times you see tailors hanging around because there's no electricity half of the day? Well, that means sitting around because there's no work. For half of the day or 2 days. Now that is not helping the economy. Now, if you are a serious government, before boasting to us about how many meters you have distributed around the country, you go and hire foreign companies, car power, and waste our money on car power when you could have transformed electricity in this place, within 1-2 years. You go and hire Senegal, you could have 9 years. By now, we could have transformed electricity supply in such a way that we guarantee it. Now, you don't do that, and you keep singing about how many meters you have distributed in town. But at the end of the day, I pay a cash power, I buy cash power, I have cash power units in my meter, and I see the whole night I have no electricity. So, it's interesting. I was telling this to some youth. I told them some 30 years ago or so. I visited my late sister, may I so rest in peace, in Dipakunda, and we were sitting down, like this, having a chat, and electricity went away. And she sent her daughter, gave her money to buy, candles from the shop. And so I asked her, I said, so how would you feel if your daughter comes back and said, the shopkeeper took the money and told her, go home, I'm not going to give you a candle? Huh? But I said, well, that is what has happened. We have paid for this electricity, and government has taken it. And you sit there calmly, you're in fact going to pay more. Because you're going to, because you're going to buy a candle. So that one day, you are going to spend it again for something that is not even going to give you your TV. It's not going to run your TV. It's not going to run your fridge. And I remember, because we used to have these conversations where Madi, and stuff like that. But this is the tragedy in our country. So we are paying more for everything because of the inefficiency, the lack of accountability, the lack of transparency, the lack of performance. So Gambians are paying more. All right, whether because of look at our communities, the roads, how many people have to take their vehicles to the garage because the roads are just terrible. And they are not done. So you cannot sit here and then, because we have built 20 roads out of Serakunda. What is that? What is there to be proud of that? 20 roads out of Serakunda. So this is the problem of this country. And people have to speak to the real issues. You build schools. Go and look at the cost of schools. The constitution we have right now, 1997 constitution, section 30 is about the right to education. It says, section 30A, primary education shall be free, compulsory, and available to all. Now, is that the case? All right. But then it went further to say, section 30B, that secondary education shall be gradually free for all. Section 30C talked about tertiary education that shall also be gradually free. Now, even though the Constitution did not give a timeline, like, okay, how long? But 1997 to date now is 30 years.
It's 30 years. That we should be.
So whatever is gradual, 30 years
should have been.
It's more than gradual.
It's more than gradual.
Yeah, but then you go to university, the cost of university is unbearable.
It's unbearable.
You know. Now, address those things. So it is not just a question of I am building more universities, but at the end of the day, how many Gambians are going to university? What facilities exist in that university to ease learning and teaching? The Gambia College used to be, they give stipend to trainee teachers. Today you remove that stipend and people pay to go to Gambia College. A total violation of the Constitution. All right? But somebody would tell us here because we have added more dormitories at Gambia College. No. The Constitution says tertiary education should be free. So something that is stated, you know, in 1997, we are in 2025.
That is,
you are in fact imposing charges. So, Fatou, for too long, our state, the government of the Gambia, has been left to be, you know, wandering around with arrogance, plundering our resources without any fear or shame, simply because nobody holds them to account. You know, you can see the opulence that they display. Jammeh came immediately, you go to Kanilai and build a whole mansion in the bush down there. Barrow came, you know, within 9 years, you build a whole palace in the bush down there. Simply because of what? You are the president. All right. So, this is the culture. That culture of waste, self-aggrandizement, and with so much arrogance. This is what EF Small Center has come to address. That this country has more than enough resources, it has more than enough opportunities to have built one of the most advanced societies in the world. Yes.
And have you heard of the, you know, finally the Anti-Corruption Commission? We have seen a list that is purportedly some of the commissioners and the chairperson of the commission. Have you had a chance to look at it? At least we are all looking forward to the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Well, I mean,
even though I believe it has been watered down, some of the major clauses have been, you know.
It's seriously watered down, the Anti-Corruption Act. We have not seen official government communication to say these are the list of proposed commissioners to be sent to the National Assembly. In the public space, we saw 3 names, you know, and we are waiting for that official government statement. Because there are issues. Yes, so there are issues that we will raise certainly on the names that we see already, or some of them. You know, because yes, the act is very watered down, but we also need
men of integrity.
Commissioners. And you know, so far, as I said, and I even made it on our Facebook page that we are waiting for official communication so that we can raise our objections, you know, to what is happening. So far, what we see, I would say I'm not satisfied. But we're waiting for the official communication.
Now, Jammeh said he's coming back. He's coming back. I mean, I see a lot of people saying, why should he come? I mean, he's Gambian, Madi. And of course, if he wants to come back, isn't it right? It's almost 8 years to come back. Obviously, maybe he wants to come and face whatever questions people want to ask. What is your observation? I mean, out of respect for the victims also, sometimes I think some of the victims, I saw a story that we wrote where Mohammed Sandeh was talking about how some of the victims will be traumatized by this, and also the victims center also issued a statement. But for the first time, Barrow has also responded to Jammeh. So, but what is your opinion on Jammeh's return?
So Jammeh's return has to happen. Either by, you know, I don't know, I want to say by design or default, I don't know what that would mean, but either by himself, like coming, or by the government going after him. On the basis that there has to be justice. Yes, there has to be justice. And Jammeh is still in his usual arrogance and ignorance when he speaks. You know, I don't know. I mean, well, if one is arrogant, that is it. But should be very clear to him that he is not the first dictator in this world. All right, that is a leader of a country who, under his watch, you know, perpetrate gross human rights abuses and plunder public resources. The examples are many, but one by one, you know, they all have to come to face justice. All right. I mean, even in countries that, you know, who are not even dictators necessarily. You look at France. Sarkozy is in jail right now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Bolsonaro in Brazil has been sentenced, you know, for attempting to disrupt the elections. Or, you know, only America, because, you know, you know, they are, so I don't know what kind of people are they, you know, but Trump should have been in jail by now. I mean, he's even convicted impeached 2 times. So when you look at it, Jammeh should know that, and I think he knows that. And anyone, whether you support Jammeh or you are a victim of Jammeh, it should be a foregone conclusion that justice would have to prevail. It has taken 9 years now. It can take 10 years. It can take, you know, 20 years. His Habrés case is just here in Senegal. He fled Chad, okay, in 1980. He was a brutal dictator. Since 1980, he was sitting in Senegal. Abdou Diouf came, they kept him there. Wade came, they kept him there. Macky Sall came, they put him to a trial. He is now sentenced to some 30 or 25 years. He is now over 80 years old. So you go to Zimbabwe, Mengistu Haile Mariam, the Ethiopian dictator, is sitting there. Kambwara is sitting somewhere in Ivory Coast. Yeah, so the examples are there, all right. But Charles Taylor is sitting in The Hague, in a prison in The Hague. So it is so strange for a president to be held to account if you abuse human rights or you plunder, you are corrupt. And Jammeh is both. So the issue now is the Gambia government, how serious they are. Now, so far until now, they cannot convince me. Because if you still have alliances with APRC, if you put Jammeh enablers in the cabinet, in the parliament, in critical institutions, if you fail to amend section 69 of the constitution that gives immunity to ex-presidents from criminal or civil prosecution, you are not telling me you are serious. Even though if you are building a special, you said you are building a special tribunal. All right. So,
but to the government's defense, though, now these people are not Jammeh allies now. They have separated with Jammeh, Fabakary and others.
No.
They have separated with
Jammeh.
Jammeh.
But that doesn't exonerate them from the fact that these are the people who entrenched, protected, defended a dictatorship in this country. You know, I mean, minimum they should be held to account, but not to be rewarded. So if that is what you are doing, I mean, this government is doing, and then you go there and be working on creating a special tribunal, you are sending mixed signals. In one sense, yes, we say this is positive, but also we say this is concerning. So where are we going to go?
But they've been very categorically clear this time. Their statement said, well, Jammeh is free to come.
No, that is a meaningless statement. That is a meaningless statement. Because Jammeh, the coming of Jammeh is not a conversation. You and me, our coming to Gambia.
It's not a conversation.
It's not a conversation. Because we are citizens.
I can travel anytime and come back.
Yeah. So if somebody says, no, Fatou has a right to come to Gambia, that's a meaningless conversation, statement. What I would have...
But they went further. They say he will be prosecuted, he will be tried.
Again, meaningless, because you have already said that in your white paper. The TRRC has recommended, you have said that in your white paper. So for me, I care about actions. So the special prosecutor's office is significant that is going, there's a special accountability mechanisms, laws created, significant. But in the context right now, all right, I would have said, look, since this is it, is the president going to constitute a committee, all right, to look into the return of Jammeh, all right, to put in necessary preparation, all right, so that because Jammeh did not give a date, Could Jammeh land here tonight?
He said November. Yeah.
Yeah, we are in November.
Yeah. And
he didn't give a date.
This time he sounded serious.
But he didn't give a date and time. So imagine government, Jammeh just lands at the international airport tonight.
And this is my thing. What happens, for example, if Jammeh lands today? Because, Solbaji and Co came. Obviously, they were held for some days, but they had to be released because, I don't know, there's no framework. This is just a white paper, right? There's no special prosecution.
No, it's not just a white paper. It's the white paper. The white paper is a significant government policy.
Yeah.
And every government policy is very important.
Okay, I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is when he comes, because Saul Baji and others were accused of some things, they were implicated, and there was a recommendation that the white paper adopted on their cases.
Yeah,
they came back.
Yeah.
They should be prosecuted. When they came back, they were held for some days, and then they were released, right? Now, if Jammeh comes, his rights should be protected, just like any other person.
Absolutely.
You will be the first person, knowing you will be the first person to defend his rights.
I'll defend his rights.
Now, what mechanisms do we have in place right now that is ready to try him? But the government is saying if he comes, he will be arrested and tried. But what mechanisms do we have right now?
So the only place to try him is through this special tribunal, which is not yet up. But this is the very reason I'm saying, instead of Barrow going to Sukuta and perambulating there, all right, what you should have done as the head of state, given this announcement, Jammeh, set up a task force from tonight. If Jammeh comes, what is the process? Considering all factors, that Jammeh has supporters, there are victims down there, and citizens, the security of the place. If you arrest him, the prosecutor's office is not up yet. You on what basis can you keep him for beyond 72 hours? And so on. So you have a task force, to say, look, we have a task force to look at this matter, and all necessary modalities are on. Who will arrest him? Would it be the police or the military police or so and so? Where will he be detained? And so that task force practically is looking at the practicalities. So if government is to convince me they are serious about what they are saying, yes, because if you arrest Jammeh, the prosecutor office is not here yet. It may be in 2026. On what basis can you detain him?
You cannot
now,
detain
if you cannot detain him, will he be released on bail or released unconditionally, or put through a process that eventually, when the court opens, he will be tried, and so on. So I would have thought that the Minister of Justice would advise the President, and this is not a matter for Sukuta rally, in fact, that the President would address the nation to tell us this is the plan in place. And that is important for peace building and conflict resolution, because then Jammeh could also understand this is the process waiting for me. Jammeh supporters can understand this is the process waiting for Jammeh. Victims can also understand. So you allay all fears, you end all speculation, and you ensure calm. But you don't do that as a government. And then you have a president who goes to a rally, or a minister who goes to sit at a radio telling us Jammeh has a right to come to this country. That's a meaningless statement. I mean, you cannot deny Jammeh to come here.
No.
Yeah, you don't have any authority to deny Jammeh to come here. That is his country.
It's his country.
All right. But at the same time, that task force, it is not just to sit down there, but that task force, are you engaging ECOWAS? Are you engaging the UAU? Are you engaging the government of Equatorial Guinea? That we have received this information is under your custody. These are the plans. So you have to be serious.
Yeah, this is a very serious matter.
Yeah, but you don't do any of that, or at least they did not tell us anything.
Because there's no framework right now. If he comes, even if he's arrested initially, he has to be released because there's nothing specific.
Yeah, so this government, this is the problem of this government, and this is the inefficiency that I have been also saying all the time. The lack of efficiency, the lack of accountability, and so on. So something has to happen. Because Saul Baji and I think Borakoli who came, we saw them arrested, and the military detained them.
Yeah.
On the basis that they are soldiers and they deserted.
Yes.
So there's a legal framework already for soldiers who went on owl, desert. All right. Okay, that's military law. But Jammeh is not a military man.
Yeah.
He's not a soldier.
He's a former president.
He's a former president.
Former president.
You know, and as I said, that framework also, that task force that you create, it is also to look at the legal issues of things. Right now, as you are building the Special Prosecutor's Office, you know, even though it is an internationalized court, all right, but locally, we have a constitution that protects former presidents.
Yeah.
You don't take chances. You don't take things for granted. You also take a bill to the National Assembly to say we want to remove the immunity of the former president. I have raised this issue since 2017, that one of the first things that will make me believe that this government is serious is you take a bill to the National Assembly to amend Section 69 of the Constitution. All right. So that, you know, there is no way Jammeh is going to hide. But you remember, Yankuba Toure, at the TRRC, immediately he, you know, ran to the Constitution to say we had immunity.
We had immunity
in the Constitution. The matter had to go to Supreme Court. All right, maybe they want to go to Supreme Court again, because I am very sure that clause Jammeh will claim it. He will claim that.
But if you remove that immunity clause in the Constitution, anytime it's going to affect the incumbent if he becomes a former president, right?
No. So the Section 69 provides that immunity can be removed for a former president.
Okay.
Not in general, but so in this particular case, the parliament, by a certain number of votes, you know, I think 2,000 or so, will say it's, you know, it's now resolved that the immunity for former president Jammeh is removed.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, even though personally, I don't think such a provision should exist in a democratic republican constitution. No president should be immune from prosecution, you know, criminal or civil, during your time and after your time. Because you mess up, you should be tried. I don't see why that should be.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but I mean, our constitution is created to serve. That is why I said our state is structured to serve the people who work in it. The 1997 constitution, the 1965 constitution, the 1970 constitution, when you read all of them, they all protect public officials more than citizens. They give more rights, more powers, more immunities, more, I mean, benefits to public officers and less rights to citizens. You know, and this is why I say 2020 constitution is what needs to come, because that is our first people's constitution that has provided citizens more rights and reduced the powers, the immunities, the benefits of public officials, even though it's still they're still high.
Emotionally, if anything, if we haven't had anything that the government is doing, I think they're taking it as another bluff. Yes, Jammeh have said several times that he's coming, and he never came, but this time he gave us a month. He gave us a day, like, I'm coming in November. A lot of people believe he's another bluff, that he's just pulling. But if he happens to go through with this, emotionally, what is this going to do to the to victims?
No, I think victims should welcome this. It will be part of their closure.
Okay.
The Jammeh trauma can never end.
Okay.
Until Jammeh faces justice. That citizens are satisfied that justice was delivered. All right. But as long as the Jammeh is there in Equatorial or Gambia or anywhere without facing justice, their wounds are still open. So for me, the victims should support this, should pressure government to make sure they do the needful. You know, from now on, and what they are doing, they expedite it to make sure we end this. It's 9 years. We don't have to have this for 9 years.
Yeah. All
right. You see, government people, they are used to those false equivalencies. Yes, I mean, South Africa this number of years, Liberia this number of years. I mean, like Rwanda. So what? You know, we don't have to go through this for 9 years. All right. So the victims should support this process. And I hope they support it, and all governments should support this process and encourage Jammeh. Jammeh supporters should encourage Jammeh himself to come. You see, Fatou, I have said this somewhere. Jammeh also is sending us a message that he needs to come. Jammeh needs home.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I've said this elsewhere. You see, during the Jammeh days, I was put into exile myself.
Yeah.
Even a brief period. All right. And in that 1 year or so, the many times I broke down personally, I cannot count it. The way I missed my family, the way I missed just the Gambian environment and everything else. So I used to imagine, how were those other Gambians who were in, everywhere in the world, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost their mother, they lost their children, and they cannot come back.
Yeah.
So exile is a painful thing.
It is.
And Jammeh, I think, is in pain also. People have to recognize that and to extend that humanitarian gesture to him, that he is in pain, he needs to come back. I mean, sitting in Equatorial Guinea, if you're in Senegal here, you hear Gambian languages, Wolof, Jola, all the time. You eat the same chebugen, and stuff like that. If you're in the UK or US, they have their Gambian societies, Gambian ceremonies. You visit each other. But who is in Equatorial Guinea? Well, how many Gambians? You people need to start, how many Gambians live in Equatorial Guinea? Do they have any Gambian ceremony in Equatorial Guinea? So Jammeh may be in a palace in Equatorial Guinea, but he is lonely. And I think the toll is now becoming unbearable. So for his own mental health, his well-being, Jammeh needs to come. Even if he's going to go to mile 2, you go to mile 2 and receive your family. You see them.
Yeah.
You speak with them in Jola. You have your friends. You speak with them in Wolof and Mandinka. You have your colleagues. You speak with them in Fula, Jola, and Sarawule, and so on. That alone is relief.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at it, Jammeh needs to come back. If anybody needs to give advice to Jammeh, is to say, look, Jammeh, you have no power. You are not in a position of strength. You are a fugitive. All right. You are a brutal dictator. So stop the arrogance, all right? You can't, intimidate anybody. Yes, because if you have that power, you are in a position of strength. Why would you be announcing every day you are coming? You would have come, all right? So somebody needs to also tell Jammeh to be realistic. This is now he's in a position that he cannot win this. Yes, but our government may not do what they should do. But another government in 20 years, they will do the right thing, Yes, I mean, what he's in Habre. He was in a palace in Senegal. Abdou Diouf kept him there as a nice guy. What came attempts started to make to, I mean, talk to Reed Brody.
Yeah.
Yeah. They followed this matter for so long. But eventually justice had to come. So Jammeh has to be made to realize you cannot bluff anyone. You cannot scare anyone. All right? And, your arrogance is meaningless. Show remorse. Start to show remorse. Maybe you will get some victim forgive you. All right? Show remorse. I mean, you cannot, what can you deny? How can you justify you are a millionaire? For working in government for 22 years makes you a millionaire. In which government? Because 1994, when Jammeh was coming, he was not even, having thousands in his account. He was a poor boy. By 2016, you are a billionaire. I mean, how do you justify that?
But we have taken everything he owns today. I mean, at least his salary for 22 years could have at least built him a house, Madi. When he comes, where is he even going to stay?
Well, in that house, those proceeds are mixed up with public resources and so on. What do you expect? They have to be taken. That is why he needs to go to court. To say, look, okay, this house, I built this one for 5 million, and this 5 million is my salary. And remember, if you're president, you are paid a salary.
Yeah.
All right? Are you saying you never spent your salary?
But everything is taken care of. Food,
no,
right?
no, but Jammeh has, they said Jammeh donated this, Jammeh donated that.
Yeah, that's true.
All right? And that would mean you took it out of your pocket and you did so. So come and tell us, that house that you claim is yours, that trouser you said is yours, that shoe you said is yours.
How did you buy it?
How did you buy it? That donation you gave to that musician there or that mosque there and so on, how did you get it? He was giving millions away. So Jammeh's things are not his things right now. They are in question. All right? So he has to go to court to clear those things. And I'm sure the process would be just and fair, so that what belongs to him will be given to him back.
That's true.
But what needs to come to government people will be taken back from government, back to government people. So I mean, but he needs to, calm down and realize he is in no position of power or authority or in any position of strength. All right, he had his time and messed up big time. And what more does he want? Gambia has moved. Even with all the problems we are facing, we have moved. And so let him come and face justice. He said he believes in Allah.
Yeah.
He said he's a man of justice. He's a man of faith. He said he's a brave man. Why are you running away? Why are you, arguing all over the place? Brave men, people who have faith, they take responsibility for their actions. So come and face, your actions and defend them.
But the thing is, he's not refusing to come. I think Jammeh is saying he left based on he wanted to stay, but he left because there was some negotiations with ECOWAS. They wanted him to leave for stability and others. Now he felt now it's time for him to come home. He really wants to come home.
Well, that agreement did not give any timeline as to
when to come back.
So he could have come back the following week. He left the Gambia. I understand. And the point is, why he had to leave is his making. Because we had an election. You lost the election,
and
you considered, you refused to accept it. They told you, people came around to talk to you to say, look, let this end here. You still insist you will not leave until you had to put our country at the mercy of foreign forces. So the circumstances he created, you definitely cannot stay here. Yeah.
Okay.
So it is his fault.
That's his fault.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, finally, Madi, let's go back to
EFSCRG. They said it's a long
1 year down.
Yeah.
100 more years to go.
Easy.
Until we're able to hold every single public official accountable. Now, what is, every write-up that I see, you say this is going to be the year of transparency, and we have seen the number of statements and inquiries that you do. You have written to so many public to access the information. How has that been?
Last week we submitted 2 requests. Yeah, so we've submitted dozens of letters to various institutions, and all of them either refused to respond, or few of them respond late and with the wrong information or no information. All right. Only one institution, Ministry of Fisheries, responded with the right information, but after 4 months.
Oh, after 4 months.
We had requested for the police report on the burning of the Ministry of Fisheries complex.
Okay.
And, we submitted the request in sometime in October, and they did not respond until after 4 months.
After 4 months.
So what this shows for me is the lawlessness of government. The law is here, created by government, and putting obligation on government to fulfill, giving the right to citizens to exercise, and citizens exercise it, and government feels its obligation. So for me, this is once again, when I say the Gambia government exists for the people who work in government, or Gambia government is a fraud, I'm not saying it's like excited. I am basing it on facts. And this is one fact that state institutions have been written to provide information, and they flatly, including the office of the president, they don't even acknowledge it. All right? Or they wait at any time they wish, send you a letter to say we are not giving you. All right? Or they send you like the SO8 commission, send you a report that you did not ask for. All right? Or the Gambia Post Authority, the Al-Barik contract, you said no, we are not giving you until February, we will put it in our website, and until today it's not in our website. Examples like that. So this lawlessness is what is in Gambia government. But we are not going to relent.
Yeah.
Yes, because every letter is a letter indicating whether there is lawfulness or lawlessness in this country. And all the more reason why we have to stand firm on accountability.
Yeah.
Yes, so we will continue to submit requests for information on any issue we think is pertinent. And not just that we request for information, but if we have received the information, we were ready to act on that information for accountability purposes. So, for example, when the Minister of Fisheries provided the report of the police report for the on the burning, the fire at the Minister of Fisheries, we reviewed it, all right, with our legal people, and we took a position paper on it, and we sent that position paper to the Office of the President, to the Attorney General, to the Inspector General of Police, to say that fire was negligence, and therefore public officials responsible should be prosecuted. The police report said there was no act of negligence, and we said, but the police report, if you look at the report, the causes, the reasons for the fire, it clearly shows negligence. It means somebody should have made sure the wiring is correct.
Yeah.
Somebody should have made sure fires are put in the proper place. Somebody should have made sure there are fire extinguishers. You don't do any of that, and then fire comes, and you say nobody is responsible. The fire did not light itself.
No.
So we have written to the Office of the President, relevant agencies, to say, based on this report, we have reviewed it and we are recommending that you prosecute this matter, and also recommend necessary infrastructural changes. So we've played our part. Yeah, we've played our part, and one day history will come to say somebody told them. So we are not in a haste, Fatou. No, we are not in a haste. But Adama Barrow, whether he understands this or not, whether he wants this or not, he will be held to account. That is natural. Which president have you seen not held to account for doing things that are not right in this world? It doesn't exist.
No.
So you can bury your head in the sand, but one day you will be questioned. Sometimes I don't understand people in power, why they forget or they ignore. Who do you think you are? You are not better than me and you.
No.
It's like we make Fatou today the president of the Gambia, and you want to behave otherwise. I'm like, Fatou, are you okay? You and I sat here. We talk about this. So sometimes, I'm like, what is the matter with these people? Things get into your head, you think you have some, you don't have power.
We see examples every single day.
Every day, So we are on that. Apart from that, we have also written letters. Because we study our environment, we see issues, we see concerns, and we feel it needs to be addressed. And we write to that agency. All right. I can give you one example. The Ministry of Health, Ministry of Basic Education, and the Ministry of Higher Education. Sometime 2 months ago or so, they had a joint ministerial meeting, which is very good. As the two ministries for education coming together to align their, thoughts and their plans and everything together. And we think that is a very important exercise. But we feel there are a lot of issues and concerns regarding our education, not just in the delivery of it, not just in the infrastructure, not just in the services, but also in the outcomes, education outcomes, and the direction of education and so on. At the end of the day, Fatou, Nigeria has more universities than Gambia. Senegal has more universities than Gambia. DR Congo has more universities than Gambia. But at the end of the day, are they better than the Gambia? The poverty, the corruption, they all depend on aid, donors, and all of those things with all the universities they have. So you can say we built 3 universities, all right, be excited, but realize that we are not building university for the sake of university. Every year, Nigeria is graduating hundreds of thousands of students. Ghana the same, Senegal the same. But how many Senegalese die in the back way? and so on.
Yeah.
So we wrote them a letter to reflect that we just don't need universities. We have MDI here. They call it Management Development Institute for decades to train civil servants and stuff like that. Did that improve our civil service? Did that end corruption in the civil service? We have a Gambia College training teachers. You look at the education outcome performance of, at primary level, at secondary level. So, to say you have built a university, will the University of Science and Technology, will we now have, manufacturing inventors will be produced from there? Nigeria has science universities. Ghana has science and technology universities. Kwame Nkrumah Science and Technology University, they are aligning with them. But is Ghana manufacturing aeroplanes? Is Ghana manufacturing telephones? All right, like South Korea, or like the US or Japan, but they have a University of Science and Technology. So, we need to be humble and be realistic that you can build all these things. As I said, the cheapest thing for any government to do is to build a structure.
Yeah.
So you can build all these schools and schools upon schools. It doesn't mean it will bring, socio-economic transformation on the lives of the people. So this is the issue. So we wrote to them, all right, and gave them facts on law, on economics, on development, examples, all right, to say how we think our education should be. Our education system itself, the curriculum needs to be transformed. We even suggested that our education system, because Fatou, you are what you study, all right. If we want to build a new Gambia, the education system has to change.
Yeah.
It has to be an education system that will build a new Gambian. Yes. And our education system that does not tell you where Edward Francis Small stands in the life of this country. That's a very poor education system.
Yeah.
Yes. Because apart from someone being trained technically as a lawyer, as a surgeon, as an engineer, and so on, you can have somebody well trained about that. But one aspect of education is that, moral and that historical education. For one to realize this lawyer, to realize that I'm a lawyer not because I'm intelligent, I have studied very hard, I have attained this, blah, blah, but to realize what therefore is my relationship with my society. What is my responsibility to my society? This is why you have professors of us, categories in our public service, stealing our public money, torturing our people. They are all well educated. But you wonder what value education do they have to realize that, look, my education is an instrument for me to serve my people. And therefore, I will not torture my people if I'm a police officer. I will not steal from my people if I'm a minister. I will not steal from my people if I'm a parliamentarian. I will not steal from my people if I'm a judge. And so on and so forth. That kind of education is what we need.
Yeah.
So we have written to them. As usual, they don't reply.
Yeah, but it's been documented.
It's documented. We don't care.
Yeah.
We have written to them, to the Minister for Higher Education and to the Minister for Basic Education. We've written to them. Yes.
Good.
And this is just one, as I said, of many examples. We've written letters to the Ministry of Interior. We've written letters to the Ministry of Justice. We've written letters to the National Assembly. We've written letters to the National Human Rights Commission. We've written letters to local councils. All right. We've written letters, not just letters, position papers. Papers that we sat down, researched, gather all the facts, the issues, argue with the facts, objectively, scientifically, so that they are not just mere papers. It's all documented. So we are fine.
We're fine.
We are playing our role to make sure the state will be held to account. Yeah.
And that's the key thing, holding government officials accountable. Now, in 7 weeks, we will be in 2026. Actually, it's just around the corner. We're in November, and that is election year. What will be the center's approach getting into election year, knowing that there's going to be a lot of political activities, there's going to be a lot of back and forth among politicians, but as civil society, we also want to make sure the citizens are equipped with right information. Politicians will always come and give us their version of issues. What is going to be the approach in 2026?
We have conceived of Agenda 2026.
Okay.
We have drafted part of it. We've shared with the civil society to say our civil society should not be a bystander, a spectator, an observer, a civic educator, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
This country has got to a point where the civil society must realize that they are an equal stakeholder, like the government, like the private sector, like the political parties, like the media and everyone else. And to learn from experience that since independence, what has been happening, Fatou, is that you have political parties, you have politicians, they conceive of the Gambia they want. They think the Gambia we want, we need. They put it in their manifesto. 5-point agenda, 10-point agenda, agenda for transformation, agenda for development. They have all sorts of stuff. All right. And the civil society will let them be. They go with that to the population, the people vote for them, they come to office, they take office, public office, in the executive, in the legislature, and they don't implement. But we see them, enriching themselves. We see them basking in the privileges and the benefits, the immunities that public office they have given to themselves, because they crafted this in the law. And we feel our civil society has to change that position, has to change that narrative, that from now on, we need to also decide what is the agenda. What should be the agenda for this country? What kind of Gambia do we want? So we have drafted our Agenda 2026 that regardless of which party wins, which candidate wins, 2026, the Gambia we want, these are the issues to deal with.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have an action plan indicating actions, issues that need to be done, such as a new constitution with timelines.
Yeah.
We think the 2020 constitution needs to go back, and we need to have a new constitution by the end of 2027.
Yep.
All right. That should be non-negotiable, that we need to have a new constitution by the end of 2027, and many other reforms, a lot of them which they had set in their MOU in 2016, in their manifesto in 2016, and in their various agendas in 2021, every manifesto, they have, and we still sit here. You look at security sector reform, civil service reform, you look at service delivery, and look at corruption, and so on. So we as EF Sports Center are saying those days are over. We are not spectators. We are equal players.
Yep.
We are not, government is not in front of us. We are with government shoulder to shoulder.
Yep.
Yes, because look, we are all citizens.
We are citizens.
Yes, somebody is to be government. Somebody will be in private sector. Somebody is in a political party. Somebody will be in civil society. So we are not behind anybody.
We are partners.
Yes, we are not behind anybody. We are standing shoulder to shoulder to look at the Gambia and decide what is best for the Gambia. So we are finalizing that agenda, and as we get to the elections, as I said, number one, we are launching a platform to monitor, political talk, discourse, all right, to highlight, expose, condemn hate speech, insults, and those kind of things. But again, to have this agenda, so that ultimately we will get to the people also, to tell the people whatever politician is telling you, whatever. These are the issues.
Interesting.
Tell them, are you going to implement a new constitution by this
timeline?
Yes. Are we going to have it? This is the issue you should concern about. If it's not in the agenda, tell them put it in your agenda. And then when that election comes, whoever wins, we will stand right in front of you, holding you account for that agenda. So this is our position with regards to the 2026 election.
That would be interesting.
Oh, well, so we hope we will have more time here to share that agenda, and to follow through. And we hope civil society organizations in the Gambia will come and embrace this agenda, improve it, make it better. Because Fatou, and I have said this in our civil society forums at Tango, Fatou, look at every sector. You will find civil society engagement over the decades. The youth. How many youth organizations do we have here? How many youth programs do we have here? How many interventions on youth participation, youth development do we have in this country? And now you look at the state of the youth, the unemployment, the irregular migration, the drugs abuse, the crime. It appears no civil society existed. It appears no government program existed in this country. But look at women. You know, since we had Women's Bureau 1980, the women's organizations, right, that we are in this country, women's programming and all of that. Today, you go to our cabinet, only 3 women.
Yeah.
In a country where 52% are women.
National Assembly, only 2 elected. Or 3.
Only 3 elected in the National Assembly.
Yeah.
You go to our local councils, the same thing. You look at the incidence of sexual and gender-based violence. Until today, FGM is a practice in this country. So it raises the question, therefore, what has civil society been doing? What has government been doing in this case? But look at governance, all right? And then today you look at the level of corruption, the level of poor service delivery in this country. Where has all the good governance programs gone? So I think our civil society, our government, our citizens, and our media need to begin to reflect.
We all need to reflect.
And go back to the issues.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at our environment. How many environmental laws, environmental institutions, environmental programs in this country? Today you look at how our environment is being ravaged. Forest deforested, degazetted. Our beaches, sand mining destroyed our beaches. Pollution everywhere. Soil, air, land, pollution everywhere. You look at litter. In our communities, everywhere, plastic thrown everywhere. In our forest parks, they have all become dumping sites. And yet we have laws protecting the forest. We have institutions created to protect the forest. We have environmental organizations, activists in this country. Decades. And now you look at the state of our environment. In fact, you can go to sector by sector, whether it's energy, whether it's sports, whether it's security. You go today, it's a law enforcement security, look at the law enforcement sector, the state of our police stations, the welfare of our police officers, the capacity of our law enforcement. So what do you see, just building new police station, because that's procurement, somebody's getting a kickback out of that. Or putting people on a highway, say it's a checkpoint, just wasting our time and taking money from people. How can a country develop in that kind of context? So this is our context that governments have to understand. All right. And this is the context that people like Dr. Ismail Assise want to misinform. When they sit in those rallies and in those media platforms telling us irrelevant things, engaging in false equivalence, that in the Gambia is the most peaceful country. That is not thanks to the government. So these are the diversions. And this is why, Fatou, as I said, we issue our statements because we have to challenge those narratives. Those false narratives. Yeah. You have to challenge them.
Whoever, I tell people the importance of these statements, you cannot underestimate.
One day people appreciate
whenever somebody says something and somebody bring a correction to it, whoever saw that negative, statement will see the reaction too and see where the facts are. These are very, very critical for any democracy. And I think,
that is the way forward.
Yeah, that's the way forward.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Madi. It's always refreshing to have you on the platform and to look at all this. Hopefully next year, especially when you launch that, how do you call it, this hate speech platform, you'll be able to look at it. And I think that is very vital now, especially the way the rhetoric in our politics is going. It's all over, and I think that is very needed going into election.
Yeah.
We want to go into 2026 election in a very peaceful and democratic way. That way the voices of the people can be properly, reflected. Thank you very much for coming.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to you all watching, good night to you all. See you again next week. Good night. Bye-bye. Thank you.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always